When I say the word freedom, what is your reaction? Now, many of you get a positive feeling, but some in our world have a very negative reaction to the word freedom. Folks like radicalized Islamic fundamentalist terrorists, people like Xi Jinping's Chinese Communist Party, and yes, America's Socialist Democrats. They all despise that word. When freedom rings, Biden and Beta lash out. That's the subject of tonight's preamble. Upon learning that Texas, Mississippi, and other states were going to lift China virus restrictions, Mr. Unity and Civility himself, Joe Biden, had a fit.
The last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it.
To be clear, the governors of Texas and Mississippi simply removed government restrictions off the backs of the people as it pertains to the China virus. According to Worldometers, Texas currently has 171,715 active China virus cases. How does that compare to a big state run by a Democrat socialist? You know, one of Joe Biden's people? State of California, with their mandates, shutdowns, and draconian restrictions, has 10 times more China virus patients at 1,660,000. Now, which approach and results do you like better? The Texas freedom approach or California's tyranny? By the way, California leads the United States on total cases and deaths. Is it Neanderthal? Is it a Neanderthal policy to promote freedom? Biden thinks so. Biden wasn't alone in his condemnation of Texas. The magic dirt-eating, gun-grabbing leftist Robert Francis Beta O'Rourke had much to say about the reopening of Texas.
They literally want to sacrifice the lives of our fellow Texans for, I don't know, for political gain, to satisfy certain powerful interests within the state. And now this mission accomplished deal from Abbott yesterday saying we are done trying to fight COVID. He stopped and left us to our own devices. Unconscionable.
You heard it right there from the leftist's own mouth. He and his political party find it unconscionable to leave Americans to their own devices, or as we conservatives have put it, leave Americans free. As you all know, Texas just suffered an embarrassing failure of their electric grid, courtesy of the Republican government there. Texas allowed a federal policy started by Barack Hussein Obama to infect their state. They allowed federally subsidized, unreliable solar and wind power to compromise the integrity of their grid, and greedy power companies made a fortune. This resulted in deaths from an historic winter storm. Beta Robert Francis O'Rourke, in an effort to advance his own un-American ideology, took advantage of the opening.
I think it appeared to many of us to be a cult of personality, the Republican Party in the era of Trump, and that probably still holds true. It's hard to escape the conclusion that it's also a cult of death. You have extraordinarily anti-democratic elements. You have anti-government elements literally running the government of the state of Texas. And it almost, I use the phrase failed state, because I think when you can't guarantee the electricity, the heat, the running water, the public welfare and safety, you are about there by any classic definition. You have folks who are literally upending civilization as we know it and completely indifferent to the suffering it caused.
The man who is the poster child for the abortion party has the gall, the temerity to call Trump supporters a cult of death. According to the best data available, roughly 100 Texans lost their lives due to the Texas power grid's screw-up. Also, according to the best data available, the Democrats support an abortion-on-demand policy that leads to 125,000 babies being slaughtered in the womb every month in the United States. It would take 1,250 historic winter storms in Texas to equal 1 month of slaughter supported by socialist Democrats and their sadistic abortion-on-demand cheerleading. But Beta O'Rourke doesn't care about any of that. He simply wants to use any opening he can to advance his destructive left-wing policies. When Americans attain freedom, it earns swift condemnation from the likes of Beta and Biden. There's a reason for that. Freedom is antithetical to their agenda. Now, I am lucky. I live in a state run by people who oppose anti-freedom liberals and their anti-American ideals. Now, I encourage all of you to come off the sidelines and start building up your own defenses inside your states. The most powerful word in the English language that any one of us can utter to a nut job left-winger is the word no. Try it sometime and watch them stomp their feet and spit and start calling you all manner of names. Then remember what Democrats' real agenda is. They're trying to make sure through unconstitutional laws and policies that you will never again be able to tell them no. I'm pleading with all of you.